Well, hello, everybody. This is Delores Jones, your comeback coach, and I am just so excited to be back with you on a beautiful Thursday here in Kansas City on Power 98.5 FM. I'm also streaming exclusively on Fly Nubian Queen. So go over to the network. That's flynubianqueen.com, the network for melanated women like you and me. All right. So, ladies, let's just get down with the get down and the come on with the come on. Okay. All right. So I am very fortunate and blessed today to have Mr. Daryl Johnson, aka Mr. Phil. Uncle Phil. Because if you look at him, just look at him. Does he not look like Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Yes, he does, doesn't he? I'm not mad at him. Do you have that kind of money?
Working on it. Got that kind of credit.
Okay, you got that kind of credit. Which brings me to our topic today. So we have 5 things that every woman should know about business credit. Because based on the numbers, women are opening more businesses than men.
Like crazy.
You all are building your bodies and we're building our brains.
Yes.
Come closer.
Yes.
So we can hear you. Okay, so you do a lot of networking around town and you made one observation. And what is that observation?
Well, when I go into events here in Kansas City, I'm noticing the room is full of women.
Right.
The men, we were just talking about this earlier, the men are making their money off their bodies, where the women seem to be making their money off their minds. So the men are kind of, hopefully coming up and getting their books and credit and business credit and financials together. But there definitely seems to be women network.
Okay.
They network, they collaborate, they work together, where the men seem to be they do 1 or 2, they'll get together and work on projects. But by and far, they are kind of doing it on their own.
Why do you think it's so much easier for women to start their own businesses now? You and I met at an event that was hosted by Sinitria Hampton Monk. And, you told me I lack the foundation. I have personality. I have ideas, but I lack the foundation.
Yes.
And I lack business credit,
yes.
which is different from regular credit, which is a blessing. Because let me tell you something. I don't know how long, Lord, not long, that it takes to repair your credit.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So why do you think it's easier for women? And what can you tell those of us that are sitting on the fence about it, like trying to figure it out?
Well, it seems to be easier for women because there are a lot more programs out there for women. Just minority-owned businesses, if it's a woman involved in there, it's 51% of ownership. There's a lot more money available for women to start their businesses than there are men. Then if you add on, she's a vet, that's another checklist.
A veteran,
that's more money.
Okay.
She's a woman, she's Black. All of those are checklists to be able to get more funding for your businesses. Whereas if you're a man, yes, you've got a veteran, then you've got a minority, but that extra little piece could be the deciding factor between 2 exact businesses, both women, both veterans. But I always say 1 woman owned and veteran, 1 man owned and veteran. They're going to give it to 9 times out of 10 the woman because it's a checklist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of that's reported to the government.
Oh. So they're trying to catch up because we make so much less than you all do per dollar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think y'all need to step it up a little bit more than that. I think you need to pull in there and throw in there if the business owner is a single mother as well. Because, single mothers with children represent the greatest number of those living in poverty. And I can say, although I looked a certain way, I was teaching social work classes and I was going over those classes and information with my students. And we looked at the poverty level and I said, oh, my Lord, I guess I'm supposed to be with them as well, because a lot of people will think because you have multiple jobs, that means you're at a certain level. But for me, poverty is a state of mind.
Right.
So that's why recently I launched out with my own business called Finally Free, LLC, where I help move women beyond labels, limitations, and low self-esteem. So we're free to be powerful, successful, and unstoppable.
Yes.
Okay. How do we get started, Daryl? And what is the name of your company?
Well, the name of my company is called Business Credit Works, and I have two sides to it.
Okay.
One, I have a financial side of it where I deal with about 15 different loan products, and I'm a broker. And I say that because when people first think about getting into business, the first thing they think about is going to a bank. A bank wants you to walk on water to get their money. They're going to take you through a lot more hoops. And if you're a startup, you might as well just close the door right then and there because they're not going to help you.
Okay.
Being a broker, and I tell people be looking for an insurance broker, a mortgage broker, because they can shop your deal, your loan. Therefore, there are more options available to you. If you're going to strictly a bank, the bank's only going to tell you about products in their portfolio that they can sell you. And it might not be the best fit for you, or they might not be able to service you at all.
So can you give us an idea of what types of businesses that you're currently working with, business owners? Are they mostly women?
They predominantly are women.
And then what type of businesses are they, starting or working through?
Well, here in Missouri, homes, shelters. I've got one client that she just got her certification that she can open up a nursing home. So, yeah, I know. And that's an underserved market because the demographics are showing, yeah, that's an underserved market here in Kansas City that I'm finding out. There's just not enough homes for the elderly to go to.
Right.
Okay. So, and that's like with Margaret's place too. I did an event there and they were all about it. She's all about helping the senior citizens.
So you're probably saying, ladies, if you have a CNA, don't just stop there. Think about owning your own nursing facility.
Nursing facility, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
A lot when we talk about the African American community, we are definitely in need of those types of places.
Right.
I worked as a director of social services for a senior living community, and that's where you have a whole lot of money.
Right.
People are spending like $7,000 a month.
Wow.
Okay. That includes 3 meals and a place to stay.
Wow.
But if you don't have that kind of money, then what they will do is they'll have someone like a social worker identify facilities that will only accept Medicaid. And some of those facilities aren't the best facilities. And so it used to break my heart when I had to go to a family and say, your mom or your dad only has 10 more days at this particular place. And I literally had a woman who told me, Delores, if you all send me to one of those other ones, I'm going to die.
Wow.
And I held on to her as long as I could until the business office said, Delores, you got to get her out of here.
Right.
And I kept saying, well, can you all at least convert a couple of rooms to Medicaid patients? Because what people have to understand is that the business decides if they're going to accept Medicaid. I
was just going to say that.
And it's unfortunate.
Right.
But they didn't. And so sure enough, she had to leave. And sure enough, with less than a month, she passed away. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It was sad. But just think about it.
Wow.
When I was working there, the majority of the people that I saw were not members of the African American community, although there were few.
Right.
And then on the side, the place where they called it like more of the fancy side,
right.
I could name maybe 4 African American people, 2 women and 2 men who could afford to live on that side.
Yeah, $7,000. That's right.
Yes. On the low end, it was $4,500.
Wow.
Yeah. So before I left, I helped a mother move over. She was a teacher, bless her heart, African American woman, and she was going into the earlier stages of dementia.
Oh, wow.
And so that needs to be a show that I do about health and our seniors and all of that. But back to what you were saying, there is a market for facilities.
Right here in Kansas City.
In Kansas City.
Desperately.
Yeah. Because I hear a lot of young women say, I'm getting my CNA, and I'm going to go back. And I'm like, okay, what's the next phase? But here's the thing. If you don't know what's out there, you just get along, you go into the cycle and you keep circling over and over, and you can't afford to do that nowadays.
Right. A lot of times too, getting into that industry, it's a guaranteed check.
It sure is.
So once you have that, some lenders can use that to get a loan against. because you have a contract with a government organization for guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
So some lenders they can use that to get a loan against.
What other companies or industries do you see a need for, and you are coaching women through?
The need for it here in Kansas. And I say Kansas City because I just relocated home about
Okay.
8 months ago from living in Phoenix and LA.
Mm-hmm.
And this marketplace is totally different than the Phoenix and LA after being gone for 20 some odd years. So I'm relearning the landscape here.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to be the biggest one. The men are in the real estate side of things.
Except Sinitria Hampton Monk.
Taxes.
Yes.
That's the other growing business. Taxes are very good here. So with the business loan side of things, we were saying I've got about 15 different loan products I want to make people aware of. One's a revenue loan. So meaning based on your money coming in the door, you can get a loan against that.
But what if you don't have money at all?
Startups. That's
Okay.
the second side of my business. I do business credit. And what business credit is, you can have a separate credit profile in your company's EIN number, separating out your business from your personal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because so many times in the community, we work from a revenue, cash in. We can never get enough cash to get to the next level. That's when you have business credit in your company's name to then leverage to get on more products or services, turn that into capital and money, then pay that credit back. That's how every major corporation does it. They leverage the credit side of things as opposed to the money coming in the door, because there's never going to be enough money coming in the door to pay the bills.
So you're saying don't take your income coming home, don't mess up. Well, it might already be messed up. Okay.
Right.
But to get with a startup,
mm-hmm.
And can you come with just an idea, or are there certain startups that women have to go into?
Well, no. With the startup, you can go into anything because you're going to register with the Secretary of State as an entity,
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit, S Corp, C Corp, LLC, corporation. Once you register with the Secretary of State, you're a business. They don't know if you're one person or 500 people. The next step then is to then work with a business credit company to start establishing that credit profile. And I tell people in my workshops, what you know about credit,
Mm-hmm.
the consumer side, throw out the window, because there's no Federal Credit Reporting Act. There's no laws around the business credit side of things.
Really?
It's much easier to build business credit. It takes about 6 months or so.
That's it?
That's it.
So what do we do to get started?
Entity. Become that LLC. Nonprofit can also establish business credit, which is some people don't think I can do that. I'm a nonprofit. That EIN number
Mm-hmm.
is what we're going to build a credit profile with Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax.
Got you. Mm-hmm.
The other thing, heads up to be aware of, your Dun & Bradstreet number, when you're a minority certified business, they're going to pull your Dun & Bradstreet business credit report.
Mm-hmm.
So another deciding factor is you have two like companies, and now they're trying to eliminate basically one company.
Right.
They're going to pull your Dun & Bradstreet credit file.
Wow.
Now, if one company has, they call it a paydex score, if they've got a great paydex score, the other company doesn't have it, that could be a deciding factor in getting that government contract.
So we're sitting at our table, they're watching live. Hello. Fly Nubian Queens and all of you beautiful people from around the world. So we're sitting here at the kitchen table. That's how they used to do it back in the day. So I got an idea. I want to open let's see, my sister wants to do this. Open a daycare.
Okay.
How much money would she need to get started with something like that? And would she come into you first before the business plan? Or do you help people with the business plan and tie it into the business credit?
Gotcha. I'm strictly in the business credit and business financial space.
Do we need a business plan to come to you first?
Nope.
No.
No.
Oh.
The other thing about the separate side is on my credit side, I'm sorry, the loan side. The loans are all in the Social Security number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have one loan product. If you've got a 680 credit score or higher, we can get you potentially up to $150,000 in business credit and or business credit cards. Okay. You're basically leveraging your good personal credit to get a business loan to then start your company. I had one client here when I first moved home. She was taking from her retirement money for her business.
Okay.
And I told her to stop. Because so many times on the loan side of my business, we start out with good personal credit.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
We start charging on our personal credit cards for business purposes.
Okay.
Then you have a slow 2-3 months, slow pay, no pay on vendors. Next thing you know, your good score is taking a hit because you're becoming slow to no pay on your personal credit because you've maxed out your debt to income.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, you started out with good credit for your company personally. Now you've got bad credit. Now your company doesn't have revenue coming in the door. So that's a big, big positive for establishing business credit, because worst case scenario, because businesses fail within that 1 to 5 year mark
1 to 5 years,
high,
yeah.
so high.
Mm-hmm.
Worst case scenario, if your business should go south, you can simply bankrupt that entity and start over again. And I give the example of our current president, number 45.
Okay. You don't even want to say his
How
name.
many failed businesses is that he's had, but I tell people, don't get mad at him, learn what he's doing. He's not doing anything that any savvy business person hasn't done, isn't doing. You never use your own money. Other people's money, OPM, other people's credit. You never use your own money because the success rate of businesses is, the failure rate, I should say, is so high. So you want to go into it with your eyes open. And I tell people, slow down.
Okay.
Because people will come to me with the idea, the concept, the excitement of what the vision has been given to them. They will leverage their personal credit, the house, their family. And I tell them to slow down. Let's build the foundation, getting business credit started first. Okay. That draws a clear line in the sand of personal debt, business debt. The debt on both files, they don't talk to each other. They don't see each other. I tell people, think of it as a really bad, messy divorce. The last thing you want to do is talk to that spouse, that ex-partner.
Okay.
So people remember that. So yeah. So because it's EIN driven as opposed to social security number driven. So the debt you're carrying personally doesn't show on your company, and your company debt doesn't show personally.
Now, you said that it takes about 6 months.
6 months roughly.
To build business credit.
Mm-hmm.
How does that even happen? What are some of the first basic steps to do that?
Basic steps. First thing we're going to do is what we call a credibility check. 50% of loan applications are denied because of fraud. And a lot of times there's little things. First thing an underwriter is going to do is validate that you are a true, actual business. So they're going to check with the Secretary of State. You might have registered as your address as 1234 South Street.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, when you fill the application out, you put 1234 North Street. Little things like that can get your application denied because first thing you're going to think about, don't you know where your business is?
Can you have a P.O. box?
P.O. box, no.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, because what lenders look for is stability. And as I said, it's so easy to start business credit and walk away from that debt. So with the P.O. box, anybody can have a P.O. box, pay their monthly fee, get business credit established, throw it up, blow it up, and then walk away from that debt. So the lenders are on the hook for that.
But usually with a credit report, or if you go out for a loan, they want to know how long you've lived in a certain place. So is that the same thing with business credit?
Business credit, like I said, everything you know about credit, throw out the window.
Okay, throw it out the window. It's gone.
And the business loans, what you're talking about is a business loan.
Okay, that's different.
Credit.
Okay,
right.
okay.
Two sides to the business.
Okay.
And I like the business credit side because I set people up for long-term success, and it helps prevent any loss to the family. So many times, like I said, husband and wife, for example, if you both have used your own personal credit for business purposes, one of the spouses, they pass away or they get disabled. You've put your family at risk now for that debt because what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours, community property states.
Right.
If that spouse had established the foundation correctly and did business credit, that remaining spouse could simply bankrupt that entity, walk away from all that business debt, and your family won't be impacted by that.
Wow. I wish I would have known that. I can't walk away from anything right now. Okay. They're following me. You're listening to Finally Free with me, Delores Jones, your comeback coach. I'm here in Kansas City on Power 98.5 FM, but I'm exclusively broadcasting live or streaming, as I would say, on Fly Nubian Queen. Hello, Queens and everybody. Okay. And also want to say a special hello to my Facebook followers who always come on over and they join me. My guest today in the studio joining me. Does he not look like Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? But his real name is Daryl Johnson.
Business Credit Works.
Business Credit Works. And he's here to give us the 5 things every woman should know about business credit. Number 1, you said it is not the same as personal credit. Okay. Number 2.
Yeah. Everything you know about credit, throw out the window. I tell people it's Wild Wild West.
It's the Wild Wild West. World. Hey, you took me back to my DJ days. I'm coming back. Okay, I'm back. And I'm back. Let me drink my water. So what's number 2?
Number 2, business credit is quickest and it's easy to get it established.
And all you need is an EIN number.
EIN number.
How much is an EIN number?
EINs with the IRS. It's no charge.
What?
Yeah, just register with the IRS using your SSN to create your EIN.
So, okay, look at these QRXTYZ. Okay, so Social Security number.
Social Security number.
To get your
EIN,
which stands
Employer Identification Number.
Oh.
Which is your tax number for your business. That's how your business pays its taxes.
Okay, EIN. Okay.
Yeah, just establish that. And that's what first thing we're going to use is the EIN number. So we were talking about the steps involved in getting it started.
Yes.
P.O. Box
does not work.
Because what a lender looks at is stability. Anyone can open up a P.O. box and walk away. The other thing they look at is email address, Yahoo account, Google accounts, free accounts. Are you really a business in a creditor's eyes using a free email? What business period has a Google account, has a Yahoo account?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So ladies, do away with, you can keep them for personal emails.
Correct.
But so who should we try?
You're hosting. I go with GoDaddy.
GoDaddy will give you one with your business.
Correct, because mine is Daryl at Business Credit Works.
Oh, instead of at Yahoo.
Correct.
Okay, and that's easy.
Right.
Because I think with GoDaddy, you buy the
domain name.
And sometimes they're like 99 cents. Yeah. Or
they're really cheap.
Not very expensive at all.
Right.
Okay. But that's also something you can write off.
Correct.
As part of your business.
Correct.
Come on, boom. I'm with you.
We here.
Okay.
We here.
All right. So that's number 3.
Okay.
Change your email address.
Change your email
Create
address.
it through GoDaddy or your
hosting
company. Okay.
Okay. Get a business email address. The other thing is home address. And lenders know, let me back up. I should preference everything that we're going over are guidelines, meaning you can certainly move ahead as you're structured with your personal email, with your free email account, with your cell phone number as your business, with your home address as your business address. All of those are red flags to a lender. But I say that to say this. You can move ahead as structured because there are home businesses out there that, your home address is your home business.
Yeah.
But know that certain lenders either will not extend credit to you or they will make you jump through more hoops to get that credit because you're using your home address, you're using a free email account. It's too high risk for a lender. Think about it. Would you loan money to someone who has a P.O. box? You can't find them.
Right. I want my money.
Right.
And it does kind of look like it doesn't look as professional.
Correct.
Okay. So you want to just separate yourself from personal to professional. There's something you said about a phone number. Now you can have, is it Google? There's a Google number you can create. Is that a bad idea?
It's not a bad idea, but what I suggest to handle that underwriting guideline, because what I'm talking about is all underwriting guidelines.
Okay.
Is to go with a virtual office.
And how do you do that?
Virtual office, I use Opus. I'm an affiliate with Opus, OPUS.
Mm-hmm.
And what they provide is a business email address, a business address, a business phone number, and a fax number.
Oh.
So there's your requirements right there. So the other thing to be conscious of is when you're registering with the Secretary of State
Mm-hmm.
and you use your personal address, Secretary of State is lost the word. It's public information.
Oh.
So anyone who Googles your business,
Mm-hmm.
sees your address, they're coming to your house. You don't want that.
We don't want that.
Yeah, that's all public information when you're registering with the Secretary of State. So by having a virtual address, using that address to register your entity,
Mm-hmm.
now you're a business, you're serving twofold.
And which company did you say you use?
Opus, OPUS.
And how much is that?
It's $99 a month.
$99 a month. So if you want to make money, you got to use the money.
It's with any business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then you can write it off at the end of the year.
Exactly.
Come on now.
Exactly. And that's a big advantage. People get caught up in the expenses of getting a business up and going, not realizing you're writing all of that off.
That's wonderful.
As opposed to a W-2 where you're getting taxed and you have no recourse whatsoever but to continue to get taxed. The benefit of being your own business owner is the write-offs.
And I was, I'm working with Tenetria
Right.
Hampton Monk. She's working with me, actually. And we were talking during the workshop where I met you. And she said, if I go back to get my PhD using Finally Free LLC, then I can write some of, did she say I can write that all off?
All of it off. Yeah, she
all
is
the
no
loans.
joke. She is no joke.
So ladies, think about this. If you start your business and you want to go back to school, then you can basically finance that, right?
Finance it off, exactly.
But can you use your business credit? Or how would you get the money? You make the loan?
Well, that is a loan because you're an entity now.
Yes.
Then you can write it off on taxes.
Wow.
Versus before you weren't an entity.
Yeah.
And you are now an entity and you're taking classes to propel your business.
Any class.
forward.
Okay. This is great. So a PhD could run you hundreds of thousands.
Right.
But as long as I go now under the umbrella of Finally Free, every year I can write off the interest or the loan.
I'm not sure about that. I want to say both because it's more of a tax, getting into the tax world.
Okay.
I want to say that she said you can write off the interest.
Okay, I'll have her back on.
Yeah, have her back on.
Okay.
And I always preference is talk with your tax professional.
Right. When you start your business.
Exactly. Because I'm not in that space.
So we have the virtual address, the virtual phone number, and the virtual fax number.
Correct.
Now, do you have to have a completely different phone for that?
No. What happens is within Opus, you can forward. So they assign an 844 because my number that I have on my website is 844-417-9675. That's then I put in my cell phone number. So it routes to my cell phone number. Then when I get a call, it says call from 844-417. I know it's a business call. Then I can answer appropriately.
So do you have a voicemail for that?
Voicemail.
It allows you to set it up?
Correct.
This is good. This is good.
Yeah, you're a business. You need to start moving and operating, and mentally you need to change from being a W-2 employee to a business owner. That is the hardest transition for us because that's all we know is a W-2 mindset. So making that switch sometimes can be challenging.
Wow. Look, the ladies are just like the queens, the Fly Nubian queens. They're like sending out hearts and smiles and thumbs up. And I see your people saying, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. This is really good information. Actually, this is great information. And just thinking about, we don't hear this.
Right.
And what you're saying is, some people will say, well, I had a bankruptcy, so I can't really start a business. And we know based on stories of millionaires, some of them just go totally bankrupt and then they start all over.
Right.
And the difference between that, when you look at it from a psychology, human development, behavior standpoint, it's their mindset.
That's it.
It's their mindset that helps them gear up again to make more money.
Correct.
So for some of us, we just say, forget it. I'm throwing it out the window. I'm going back to work for somebody else.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you something. Ever since I decided to open up Finally Free LLC, I have not been able to work for anyone else. Because once you get a taste of that type of freedom,
it's nice.
And you're ready to sign up. And what I've learned is the sacrifice is important. And what I mean by that, there are certain things that I had to scale back on in order to cover my living expenses until or as I am building up that amount of money. And it's a beautiful thing. But if you think about, oh my God, I got to go in it because I have to make this amount of money. No. And can I say this? In this process, some of us qualify for food stamps. And I tell people, don't be ashamed of that because that's financed through your taxes.
That's true.
So think in terms of all of those jobs you had, honey. You paid into that pool. So you better go get your food stamps.
I didn't think about
that. Oh,
that.
Yes. Get your vision card. I got my vision card. That is it's in my purse right now. Do you hear me? Now,
lunch is on you.
Yes, honey. We could go to the grocery store. Okay. But also, as you start to make more money, then they'll pull away the food stamps. So don't get too comfortable, but just think at that time, now you don't have to worry about it. I think I get close to $200.
That's nice.
I know.
That's nice. You're leveraging the system. All of the rules and guidelines they have, leverage them. Yes. But you have to understand and know that they're out there in order to leverage them and come off of pride.
Yes.
Because so many times we're like, well, I'm not going to get food stamps. It's prideful. You're trying to move in a whole different direction.
Yes.
And I share in my workshops, corporate America, I spent 20 years in corporate America. It doesn't prepare you for business ownership. Business ownerships, there's loop-de-loops, there's ducks when you should have dodged. There's, you getting smacked upside the head. You got to figure it out. You have to figure it out. And one point you made about getting discouraged, with the banks, most people, when you first ask them where they would go get a loan, they'll say a bank, they'll go to the SBA.
The Small Business Association?
Right. And I first, years ago, when I first started going down the path of being an entrepreneur, I went there. And what they did for me was discourage me.
What did they do? How did they discourage you?
Because their guidelines, one thing from a bank perspective, they want people to walk on water. You've got to have excellent credit. You've got to have resources with them. Didn't have it at the time.
No.
And then when you go to the Small Business Association, their guidelines also too can be cumbersome. And then if you're in that startup phase is so underrepresented as to where to go to for resources to get going. So as I explain to people, going through my business credit program, within 6 months or so, you have about $50,000 worth of business credit in your company's name.
What'd you say?
Gas credit cards, fleet credit cards, store credit cards. The last leg of the program is going to be MasterCard and Visas because the secret to business credit is layering the credit types on little by little. If you apply for credit too much, that's going to be a red flag to the system and it's going to shut you down. Because what we do in the credibility piece, business, the address, phone number, fax number, is we make it where the computer gives that underwriter a yes.
Gotcha.
The algorithms in the computer can approve that application without kicking to an underwriter. They kicks to an underwriter because the computer couldn't approve it. Like, okay, the address. Okay. And the computer's going to look at your footprint on the internet and validate address, phone number, fax number across multiple sites on the internet.
So is that Facebook?
Facebook, your website, secretaries, because it's all algorithms.
So you need to, can you still have a personal Facebook page? Will they pull that up too?
No, what they're looking at is because you're using your EIN number, you're using your business address. But they're going to also, the computer's going to validate that it's consistent in the multiple channels. Every place your footprint is on the net, Yelp, Yellow Pages, Google search, it needs to be same address, phone number, fax number across the board. Think about it. Sprint corporate offices, Kansas City. You put in Sprint corporate offices, no matter what Google search, what Yahoo, it comes up the same each and every time. Once again, fraud. They're trying to validate that you're a true entity before you even get to the financials. They want to make sure you're a company. So if your footprint is inconsistent, Say, wait, this site has this address. This one has no phone number.
Mm-hmm.
A corporation is not going to do that. USPS, when the company moves, they update the post office.
Got you. So now when you get your business cards, ladies, queens, get that virtual, what did you call it?
Virtual office.
Virtual office.
Right.
And get that number and put that number on your business card.
Correct.
Now, listen to this. You know, in the communities, they have those, is it called workspace or they call it workspace?
Yeah, the workspace.
Okay. So does that work as well? Or do you recommend more of the virtual?
Yeah, those work. Anything that is zoned commercial that can assign suite numbers, you're okay.
Do you have any idea how much those are a month?
I don't know because they're varying all across the place.
Yeah.
One thing to be conscious of, I get this a lot here, is, well, I've got a friend who has a warehouse, who has an office, and he said I can use the address there. Well, how many other people has he
given that
address out to? And once again, it's all about that computer. It's going to validate. So it's going to go out and check, say, hey, there's 5 different companies running out of one address that hasn't been zoned to give out suite numbers. Red flag. Are you running an illegal operation there to try to obtain business credit? It's going to shoot you down. They said we don't want that file to kick to an underwriter, because once it kicks to a person, that's what we call a manual underwrite. They're going to look at other things.
Right. But with the address that the virtual office gives you, when someone sends you mail, how do you get it?
They scan it, email it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And email it to
that's different.
And I just use that address just for business credit.
Oh, that's it.
It's on my website and everything like that. I don't get mail.
Okay.
And if you get mail, what you'll get is a pre-approved, pre-qualified offers in the mail for your business.
And you don't want those?
No, because I tell people that's like when you first meet someone, it's kind of like, well, I think I want to date you, but I'm not quite sure until I pull your credit. So now the next step is fill the application out. Yeah, you've been pre-approved where I might date you, but I need to pull your credit first.
Actually, we need to look in the medicine cabinet. Okay, that's what you need to do first, ladies. Okay, that's a whole nother show.
In the wallet.
Right. I'm going to do an actual show about should you date someone who is in therapy. There's an article that came out. Wow, so ladies, the queens, y'all get ready. Okay, so the other thing that came to mind, so you gave us a lot.
There's a lot to give.
A lot
to give.
So anything else that is pressing that's coming to mind?
The big piece is the credibility point, just making sure we're trying to fit you into where the computer gives us that underwriter and approval, basically called the CYA. Once that approval comes from the system, the underwriter can hand up that paper. Hey, the computer approved them. I didn't. Okay. And for startups, it's very, very hard to do that. You can establish business credit as a startup.
So then you take that and then you go to the bank?
No.
Okay.
Not to the bank right away.
Okay.
Once over time, you have that business credit, because through our program, you'll have about 30 trade lines. So MasterCard, Visa, gas cards, store credit cards, and net 30s. Net 30s, this is a good one because I get this question a lot that people aren't aware of. Most example is a hair salon. Okay. Most times the ladies will pay for their products as they get them. And I just asked, why don't you have that on net 30 or net 60? And they're like, what is that? Ooh. What that is you get your products today, you get an invoice to pay that in 30 or 60 days. That helps you with cash flow management today because you don't have to write a check today. You've got 30 days to turn that color into money to pay that invoice.
That's wonderful.
And a lot of salons don't know about that. And a lot of their reps should be telling them that, but they're making us pay cash up front.
But then they're paying it 60 days later.
Right. So yeah, that helps us with cash flow management versus having to write a check that day. You got that money in the bank until you can actually get the clients in to use that color to then charge and make the money and then pay out that invoice. The way you're going to do it too is once you get the invoice in your company's name, you should never be buying your products in your own name anymore once you're an entity.
Okay.
Everything needs to be bought in your company's name. Okay.
Okay. And can you buy cars in your company?
Yeah. I had one client in my program within 8 months. He called me up from Atlanta dealership going like, man, this S stuff works. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm here at a dealership in Atlanta and I just got approved for a $32,000 car by 2 lenders. And the salespeople are looking at him like, what did you do? We don't know about business credit. How did you do that?
But it's under his business name.
Correct.
Now, what if he defaults on that?
Bankrupt the company.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's a big advantage for business
Now,
credit.
someone told me that if you have a car for business, it has to have your company name on it somewhere. Is that true?
No.
Okay. I was just wondering.
No, he bought us a regular car because he's in sales.
Oh.
So he's not going to need his name on there or anything. But you can, if you have your car, your company name on there, that's also another write-off.
Yes, it is. Oh, if you put it on your car?
On the car.
That makes it a write-off.
Yeah, wrap.
But if
you call it a wrap loan, you can get a wrap loan to put your business name on your car, and then that writes off to everything.
Yeah, but some of those big old signs aren't sexy.
Yeah, but when that write-off comes at the end of the year, you're like, okay, I'm sexy with my check in my hand.
Well, can you get them like in the corner? Can you get a wrap in the corner?
You want to make it cute.
Yeah.
No. Yes, we can put it in the corner.
Add some bling, some eyelashes. I'm just joking. So you're listening to Finally Free with me, Delores Jones, your comeback coach, actually. And I'm here locally in Kansas City, but I'm streaming live exclusively on Fly Nubian Queen Network. And do me a favor, why don't you go out there and subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen Network? We're talking about 5 things, at least 5 things that every woman should know about business credit. Ladies, I know that you want to own your own life. And honestly, I didn't know any of this information until I met Daryl Johnson, aka Uncle Phil. I'm going to say of the business world. Okay. And I'm just like eating all of this up. And a lot of this you're giving people for free.
Right.
But I know you have a program and you charge.
Correct.
We'll have to talk about that.
Let's talk.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. A couple of more things. And I'm going to allow the listeners or the viewers to ask a question. If you have a question for Daryl Johnson, I'm sure he won't mind
not at all.
Talking about it. So tell us about some of your success stories. People who were like, I don't know if this is really going to work.
Well, when I first started in business credit, let me back up a little background about myself. I spent 10 years in the brokerage world working at Charles Schwab.
Oh.
Then I moved over to the real estate side in Phoenix, 2008.
Right.
Got to work on my timing. Wasn't the best time to go into real estate, but so I had a BPO company, a drive-by appraisal company, which is just that, drive-by appraisals for lenders, a lot cheaper. Then the market went south, and I jumped in and learned short sale negotiation, foreclosure, originated loans. I was a loan processor for another 10 years on the banking side. So I stepped out of that world and started Business Credit Works because I wanted to leverage my financial background, what I take for granted, and share with business owners and the community on a better way to do things. Okay. So because we don't know, and what I get in a lot of workshop is, why don't they teach this in school?
Right. Why don't they?
Business school, they don't teach this. They don't teach it, advertise it, because they want to have you, what we call PG, personally guarantee that debt.
What?
Yeah, they want you to put your social security number on those
so that you have to pay off that
there
debt.
There you go, leverage.
Huh.
Yeah, that's why they don't advertise it in the stores.
Oh, so like if I go to a clothing store,
you can use your EIN number.
Right, because a part of what I do is I dress up.
Business.
Look at you.
That's related to you. Clothing, shoes. Now you got it. Now you with me.
Even your hair.
Even your hair.
Get out of here.
You have a business MasterCard.
Get out of here.
Everything on that MasterCard is for business purposes. Everybody takes
and you can write it off.
You can write it off.
This is great.
Your tax accountant will love you because it draws a clear line in the sand of business debt, personal debt.
Wow.
Okay. Another thing I share with people is if you once you are in the program and you get to the business credit, you get to the MasterCards, the credit limits are 10 to 100 times higher also. 10 to 100
what are the interest rates like though?
Interest rates are normal. They're credit cards.
Oh.
They run their 0% interest, 12 months, 24. Their promotions are normal credit cards. It's just in your company's name.
I work with a young lady, in healthcare. And she always had a brand new Corvette. And so people were like, oh, her and her husband must be balling. And he owned a bowling alley. And so I said to her, so how do y'all do that? And she, she's like, well, we actually turn it back in. But now that you say that, I am sure that they are using business credit to get all of those fancy things that people are out there thinking, wow, they live in large.
Or leasing.
Yeah, leasing.
Your company can lease
a car.
Once you build your business credit profile out, and over time, once your revenue increases, your company, on the strength of your company revenue, the length of time it's been open, it can buy a house. It can lease buildings, because if you have a storefront, you want that in your company's name and not your personal. Everything on paper is in your company. Okay, that's where you want to get to.
Yeah.
And I tell people, this is how we compete with generational wealth. This is how we compete with it, is establishing business credit, because those credit lines are going to increase. The credit limits are going to increase on their own. They're not like the consumer side where they're going to ask you, oh, have you got a raise? So I want to increase my credit limit. You're going to call them up. I want to increase my limit. Well, how much money do you make? They don't care. You're a company. You're utilizing your credit. You're making your payment back good. That's all they care about in the business credit world. Did you pay? Did you not pay? That's what they look at. That whole circle on the consumer side, mortgage debt to credit card debt to revolving, out the window.
Okay, so how do we get started with your program for those people that are here? But I do know that, we stream on Fly Nubian Queen, which is owned by Dr. Boyce Watkins, and they always have the Black Business School.
Yes.
And so I want to invite you all to go to theblackbusinessschool.com to learn about how your company can benefit from financial freedom and different things. He takes you through that particular thing. And right now you can just go online and sign up. So that's the first step. But what about here in Kansas City?
Here in Kansas City, my website is businesscreditworks.com. I actually have an ebook on there. You can sign up for an ebook. My phone number is 844-417-9675. You can also go to my website and get a hold of me there. But then just reach out to me. We can schedule a consultation. You can download an ebook. And I'm going to start doing more workshops around town. I've been doing a lot of investor workshops lately with Daniel Holiday.
Oh.
So I'm going to start doing some more in the community.
Okay. Daryl Johnson, thank you. I'll have to have you come back, because I guess it takes 6 months. Your program is a 6-month commitment.
Correct.
Is it? Okay. All right. Thank you all for watching and listening to Finally Free.